Hi, I'm Dave, and this is Jay on the Dave and Jay Show. You know, Jay, lots of things to talk about these days, of course, but in Alberta, we've got the rise of the newest, we hope, conservative government in the province of Alberta, the United Conservative Party led by Jason Kenney. The election will likely be it will be in the spring of next year, likely in May. I guess people are maybe guessing it'll be May. The Premier has a 3-month window in which to call it.
And I'm sure she's going to put that off to as long as she can.
Drag it off to the end so she can keep bashing away at the UCP. But, you know, we're going to look at what Jason Kenney and the UCP, if they are given a mandate by the people of Alberta, what kind of things they should do and when and how fast. Jason himself has been very public. He hosted a rally with Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who came out to Calgary to, rev up the local Conservatives and show them it can be done. Jason has been making speeches to business groups, etc., laying out what he thinks some of his top priorities are. He's already said that repealing the carbon tax is job one. They'll do that right away.
Yeah.
He's called a summer session of the legislature.
He would, yeah.
And, I'm very encouraged. The other day he said that he was going to have a minister of his government dedicated to cutting red tape. I mean, they are bound and determined to cut regulation and free up and unshackle business, small business especially in this province. So those are some things that he says he's going to do. I got a couple of ideas about what they should or maybe should not do going forward, but for sure, Jay, I think he has to hit the ground running, doesn't he?
And he realizes that, and I think that's what's so encouraging for all Albertans, Dave, is the fact that, I had the good fortune to be at a luncheon, a Chamber of Commerce luncheon here in Calgary a while ago, and listen to his plans. He said this, if he's fortunate enough to be given a mandate and be elected Premier of our province, where he's going to go with this. And one of the things that I noticed as a former politician, Dave, is that when we were elected in 2006 federally under Stephen Harper, we made a lot of changes. I think that we, especially considering we had a minority government, we didn't have a majority where you can basically, as you say, hit the ground running and do a lot of things. But we weren't really prepared to do a lot of the things that we should have been prepared for. And of course, there's always that fine line. You don't want to appear as arrogant that you're going to win and that you're going to get the mandate from the people. But by the same token, there's an expectation when there's a dramatic change in government that there's going to be a change in direction. And I've been saying for a long time that what he needs to do is that he needs to have knowledgeable people in place right now, like 6-8 months in advance. And as you say, looking at line by line, what regulations need to be changed? Which taxes are you going to change and adapt and amend? And have all that so that when you're elected Premier, you just call in your clerk, you drop about a 6-inch binder of changes. They're specific. And Jason was saying the other day that that's exactly what he's looking to do, is be specific. He's asking people, knowledgeable people, to be specific about what should change, as you say, with red tape, with regulation, with taxation, all of the things that are dragging down our economy. What are they going to change?
And I think one of the things that he has in the back of his mind, he'll be reminded about it a lot. And I'm a little reluctant to bring up the guy's name because I think a lot of people today who are maybe under 30 don't remember the days of Ralph Klein. But I think Jason Kenney and his people around him must remember Ralph Klein. Ralph Klein in 1993 began to tackle the debt and deficit. And it was hard. I mean, this is hard work, and you're going to get a lot of pushback from every possible special interest group that's getting government money. They're all going to be pushing back at you. So one thing, Ralph...
Well, they're all going to say, yes, by all means, we fully support cutting back and living within our means, but just not me.
Not us.
Not us, not our group.
So I think remembering what Ralph did with guys like Stockwell Day and Jim Dinning, but when they started, the thing that worked for them was they didn't waver. They stuck to it.
Exactly.
And Ralph was getting daily demonstrations outside the legislature. Like he knew that what he was doing was right, but he was getting a lot of pushback, but he did not waver. And I think that's one of the things that these guys have to remember.
Blink, right?
Do not blink. Don't get pushed around by special interest groups. Also, cutting the size of government. We talked about cutting the reach of government. These socialists under Notley and the NDP are hoovering up everything they can to put under their wing so
was-
that everybody's dependent on this socialist government. That's got to end.
Well, and it was interesting, when I watched Jason, the moderator asked him at the chamber luncheon what 3 things he could be held to, and he named them off right away. He said, repeal the carbon tax, number 1. We already mentioned that. Reduce corporate income tax, number 2. And reduce the regulatory burden in order to restore the Alberta advantage.
That's it.
And he just named them off 8 months in advance of the election. Those are going to be his priorities. And I'm saying, just as we did in 2006, keep your promises simple. Limit them to 5 maybe major promises. There's 3 that everybody can relate to. Keep them simple and make them doable, and make them so that you do them in the first year of your mandate.
And he has to be open with the public, transparent, let everybody in Alberta see what he's doing. Then you'll get buy-in from the public. They'll understand, oh yeah, I see why you're doing that.
Yeah.
You can't do things behind closed doors. You've got to be open, transparent, honest, and I think he will. But I think those are some of the lessons that they can learn from that former government. Alberta kind of slid after Ralph Klein won. And we paid the price for it in May of 2015 when the NDP were elected. So we have to right this ship, and we will. Jay, listen, thanks a lot. Our time is up again. Jay Hill is often on this program with me. It's the Dave and Jay Show.
I think we co-host this. I don't know why you insist on thanking me at the end of every show.
I'm just so grateful you're here doing it with me. You see, thank you for giving us your time.
Well, thank you for showing up in our studio today.
I'm Dave, that's Jay. You can follow us on YouTube by subscribing on YouTube. Thanks very much, and watch us on Facebook, of course, and we're on Twitter. We're all over the internet.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.